A few days ago, I made a price chart analysis video on ADA in which I predicted that ADA will rally to $1 based on the setup that we are seeing on the chart and based on the historical patterns that we have seen before. And I still think that that theory is intact. And even though we are seeing 11 consecutive red days for ADA, but I think it's all part of the setup. And in this video, I'm going to explain why that is. So a few days ago, I charted this on the ADA price chart, and it looks like the price of ADA is following exactly this setup. So I witnessed a parallel trend line, which is, I think, is pretty easy to spot, even for beginners. We are hitting higher highs and higher lows, and the price of ADA is trading under these parallel trend lines, which is currently we are in a short-term bullish trend. And when we hit the peak at 21 cents, we hit the resistance based on the parallel trend line. And for the 11 consecutive days, the price of ADA has been dropping following this exact pattern. And based on this pattern, it will continue to drop further for the next 2 or 3 days until it hit the support that is at around 16 cents. And when it does, and when the RSI drops further below 40 or towards 35, it will start rallying again, and it will go towards the next resistance that is 22.6 cents. Now, that is what we are witnessing in this current pattern, in the current parallel trend lines that we have. And of course, it cannot continue to trade within these parallel trend lines. There will be a point where it breaks out or it break down. That's what we have to realize, like what catalysts are there, and at what point is it going to break out or is it going to break down. And in my previous video, I talked about two major things. The first one was the RSI, because we hit the lowest RSI ADA has ever hit on the 1-day chart. And every time ADA has hit an RSI below 30, it has gone to rally. It has gone to rally 3x, 5x, 6x. And we just hit the lowest RSI. And every time it has hit a level below 30, it doesn't just start rallying immediately. It starts rallying after 1, 2, or 3 months, especially following the current crypto trend and the macro. And now we have hit this level. That means the coming months are really important. And just as ADA hit this level, we witnessed the price of ADA to start rallying, and it did this 2 consecutive times. And every time it is making newer highs, and it's making higher highs and it is making higher lows, which means we are in a short-term bullish trend. And if we will continue down this road until there is a breakout or any sort of convergence or divergence. And the next major indicator that we have that I talked about in my previous video, that is the 200-day moving average. Now, if we zoom out of the chart and we use the 200-day moving average to see the pattern, every time ADA has traded below the 200-day moving average for a considerable amount of time, there has been a point where there is a convergence. And every time we get this, price of ADA starts to rally. Now, the last time it happened was somewhere here. So the price of ADA was trading below the 200-day moving average, tested it for resistance multiple times until there was a clean breakout. And when we had that, the price of ADA went on to rally to $1.3. And now, as you can see, it's almost a year that we are trading below this 200-day moving average. And we're getting closer and closer. We're probably the closest to the 200-day moving average in the past year. So the gap is closing in, and this is the next major resistance. So we have 2 major resistance coming up. The first one is based on the parallel trend lines that we have, which says that the next resistance is at 22.6 cents and possibly 24 cents. And if the 200-day moving averages and this gap continues to close, we are looking at a resistance at around, that will be 23 cents. Now, this is what Cardano has to, what ADA has to flip, and it also, it may have to test it for support. And if we get a clean breakout and the macro supports this setup, including the overall geopolitical situation, the inflation, the interest rates. If that sports and if you get a clean breakout, we're possibly looking at a huge rally, maybe towards 90 cents, maybe towards more than $1, which will be an easy 6x, 5x, or 6x, or even more than that from this point. Now, the setup for ADA looks pretty interesting. It's not too difficult. It's actually pretty easy to spot this because we have multiple indicators. Not only do we have the RSI that is indicating, because every time ADA has hit a low RSI at around this level, it has gone to rally. Every time Cardano has flipped the 200-day moving average, it has gone to rally. So we're having multiple of these indicators together, and now we have these parallel trend lines, which shows that we are in a short-term bullish trend. And if we continue down this road, we're probably looking at the price of ADA to drop further in the next 2 or 3 days until we reach 16 cents. And on 22nd of August, that is probably when we are going to see a next rally for ADA that will go towards 22 cents based on this current setup. Of course, we have to see what happens next, unless something changes, unless we get a new catalyst, unless we get a new factor that completely derails this setup. But yeah, this is what we are seeing in the price. So even though the price of ADA is dropping, the theory for ADA to go back to $1 and even cross it is still intact based on the overall and the historical trends that we are, that we have seen in the past. So that's my take on this. The bottom line is that the price of ADA will drop further to 16 cents. We're going to see 3 more red days before price of ADA rebounds and it starts rallying again towards 22 cents. And hopefully maybe in the next rally, or it will drop again. And in the coming rally, we may be able to flip the 200-day moving average. And ADA may have to test it for support before it goes to rally. And it cannot do this, even if we do flip it, it cannot do this outside of the market. That's the point. It may be able to flip it, it may be able to go into short-term rally, but if the macro stays there, if the macro doesn't change with the interest rate, with the geopolitical situation, with the inflation, it'll be much difficult for ADA to rally, even if we are seeing this bullish trend. So that's my input in this. I usually focus more on the the technology and understanding what's happening and what's fundamentally changing. But if you do find these sort of chart analysis interesting, which by the way, I'm not too expert in this, I don't do this pretty often. I use some really basic indicators, but the point is it keeps things very simple. So if you do find these interesting and want more of this, do let me know in the comment section. But yeah, that's my take on this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video shortly. So stay tuned.